Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? We're having fun right off the bat. Let us know if you can hear us okay. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show. Oh, we're having fun. We got Kent Riddle. We got Brad Bedell. Kent, we weren't expecting to have you today, but you're back.
I wasn't expecting to be here, but the tough volleyball tourney for the Timberline Wolves, but heck of a year for them. So proud of all those girls, and but didn't work out, so we're back a little early.
All right, Brad, we're going to work with you. The camera's right there.
Okay,
we're going to work. It's Genty, not Gentry. Let's go.
I want to say one thing. When we start this thing on Friday, this guy goes, just stare at, look at me. So I look like the hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm looking at him, and it's Genty. I practiced it, and we're going to get into that one because he didn't finish the game. Jesus.
What was the final score? 32-7?
32-7.
32-7. Boise State wins this one. I mean,
dominating.
It's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I mean, I don't wager on games that Boise State's playing in, but I just felt like this was a game where the spread was 4.5. You're coming off the bye. Kent. I mean, it just seemed like this was a game where.
A lot cooler.
And we talked about this morning or yesterday. They don't run the ball very well. They don't stop the run very well. I mean, the matchups lined up very well. Boise State runs the ball. Agreed. Wyoming doesn't stop the run, and it kind of played out. I mean, they had 112 yards of offense for Wyoming tonight, Ken.
Yeah, the quarterback, they did a great job. They hit him early, pressured him, I think confused him with some coverages. He looked not very good.
Good.
Yeah, he just, even when guys were open, he missed some throws. So they had him off kilter, whether it was coverages, pressure, all the above. But it was fun to watch, and I thought the Bronco defense looked great. I mean, outside of a couple turnovers, they probably pitch a shutout.
4 quarters, right?
Yeah,
we talked about that yesterday. I think this defense probably put together 4 quarters of their best football and stopped the run. They averaged 167 a game. Wyoming did. And then they want to come out here tonight, and they averaged 0.7 yards rushing.
27 rushing yards. 27 rushing yards.
If you're a Wyoming football team that averages 160 throwing, 167 rushing, if you're going 27 yards rushing, it's not going to go in your favor at the end of the game.
And Boise State's the defense has always been built to stop the run. So any team that comes in here and thinks they're just going to cram it down your throat without, really doing something
it's not going to work.
Different, something out of the ordinary, that's going to be tough.
Well, what did they throw for? What did Wyoming try to throw for?
Wyoming passed for 85 yards tonight. They were, let's see, 10 for 21 for 85 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
And I know, Rid, you and I talked about this earlier in the week, and you said the big difference is going to be explosive plays for the passing attack.
Yeah.
And if you look at the first drive, Green comes out, throws a bomb, touchdown. And I'm like, okay, this game's over.
Yeah,
They don't match. Athletically, don't match.
Get me started on we'll get to the quarterback usage and what will happen there. But it was a nice start for Boise State.
Oh, awesome. They come out, I guess it wasn't really 3 and out because there was a penalty involved in that, but they stop them, no first downs, get a punt, drive right down, hit a big play for a touchdown, big play, great throw by Talon, big play by Emac. I mean, I thought it was everything you could hope for.
Coming off of a bye.
Exactly. They obviously had a great plan, what they wanted to do to attack them. And I think other teams are going to look at that and say, like, hey, we got to make a decision. Are we going to put an extra guy in the box, or are we going to leave Emac one-on-one? And that's what you're trying to create in those things.
Brad, nice start for Boise State. Nice start for Boise State.
Great start. I mean, if you really think about it, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. The only 7 points that came out for this game is a muff punt. I don't even know how many times they crossed the 50 other than that.
Not many.
The punter did a great job changing field position tonight for Boise State.
Got a 68-yard punt, I believe, that pinned him down.
It's
a couple inside the 5. I mean, I thought
they came out as a determined team, and we talked about this yesterday. They're going 1-0 mindset, and they came out here and they said, we're going 1-0. And they did that.
Absolutely.
Sorry to cut you off earlier, Ken, but George Jelani back, and they ended up needing him because in the second half, Ashton Genty went out with an undisclosed injury. We'll wait and hear from Indianapolis what's going on there. But 20 carries. We talked about it yesterday. Maybe 5, 6, 7. Let's work him back in. But 20 carries for George Jelani, 75 yards. You end up only having 6 carries for George Jelani or for Ashton Genty, but 12 carries for Breezy Dubar as well. But 32 carries for running backs other than Ashton Genty, and they get the win tonight. But your thoughts on having George Jelani back? Obviously a big deal.
Yeah, huge. I mean, George is a big-time player, and sometimes we forget that because he's battled some injuries here and there. But that guy's, as good as Ashton Genty is, those are the 2 best running backs probably in the conference, hands down. And when you're without one of those guys, it changes things. And I'm guessing Ashton will be back pretty quickly. I didn't see anything too bad happen to him.
I didn't see much at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. It also shows the work ethic of George. To take all those carries, he hasn't played since when?
First game.
So the work ethic of him being in condition to do something like that, that takes a different kid. That takes somebody that has an unbelievable work ethic. The other thing is he picked up some great blitzes. They ran a lot of cross pop same and things like that. He protected the quarterback great. So he's paying attention in meetings when he was hurt. The training staff got him ready, and they put him on the field knowing he's in condition. And if we got to rely on him, we're going to run with him.
Yeah, we talked about it. I said maybe he gets 5, 6, 7 carries, ease him into it, but 20 carries, they didn't ease him into it tonight, Kent.
Well, I think that was a little bit out of necessity.
Yeah.
And obviously Breezy came in there and did a nice job.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing they didn't want to roll with him
too much.
Too much. At the end of the day,
freshman. That's probably his most action if I can think about it. 12 carries for 45 yards, and he had his first career touchdown as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Big time run.
Yeah, that's special. It's special.
That's probably the most probably this season the most he's run. I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. And he did a nice job from what I could tell in pass protection. He's doing a heck of a job.
You saw it on TV. Now, what's the game on TV? I didn't get to go to the game. But Wyoming's 3rd and 5+. They go very exotic on 3rd down.
Yeah.
They were still doing that.
They were 1 for 11 on 3rd down.
No, he's talking defensive.
No, the defensive. Their blitz combinations.
8 for 14 for Boise State.
Yeah. And a freshman that comes in and can pick up those combinations and can see the field, know who's coming, knows who's not coming, safety rotation. It's impressive by a freshman.
I thought Boise State's game plan was awesome on 3rd down. Obviously they were trying to get it to 3rd and short, which they converted a ton of 3rd and shorts. Talon pulled a couple, ran them. They hit some quick passes.
Yeah.
But their third down plan was awesome.
Perry says the 2 QB system, very bizarre, but we keep scoring points. What do you guys make of how they're making it work right now? They're calling Talon Green the starter, but this is now 3 games in a row where Maddox Madsen has played more snaps than as a backup than the starter. That's 3 games in a row where they've said Talon's our starter, but Maddox, the second half, it was pretty much exclusively Maddox Madsen. Maddox Madsen goes 12 for 15, 147 yards and a touchdown. Talon Green only completes 3 of 6 passes for 69 yards, but he did have Green rushing 4 times for 32 yards and a touchdown as well.
Miscued. Talon Green fumbled the ball.
Exactly.
When Talon Green fumbled the ball, they put it Maddox in for 3 straight series.
Yeah.
So that's
I think
turn the ball over.
You know, they're emphasizing, obviously turnovers have been an issue at this point.
Yeah.
And so I think they're trying to say, like, hey, you're either going to take care of the ball or you're not going to play. And that, I wouldn't say exclusively to Talon. I think that's something they're talking to everybody about. But if you don't enforce it, nothing happens. I mean, I go back to
but
like
Genty
2000
fumbled the ball over a little bit at San Diego State, and he was still running it.
Well, I don't think they had a whole bunch of other options.
They just had the freshmen do all that. But I mean,
yeah.
that's the tough thing about it. At that position, it's glaring when you turn the ball over. Yeah. But he was.
So you think the fumble by Green and then Madsen coming in, that was a result of the fumble that they stuck with Madsen there?
Well, they may have had a plan to put him in that drive anyway. I don't know that, but I do think how long he stayed in was probably due to hey, we're not going to tolerate turnovers because that lets other teams back in the game.
Yeah,
they were up 8-0. They're driving. They get a chance to make it 15-0. I mean, they might run away with this game and put it completely out of reach at the end of the first quarter. Instead, they let them in. They get the ball back out to like midfield on that fumble return, and then the defense comes out, stops them. They fumble the punt. And
play action score for Wyoming. That's the only points of the game.
And that's the only points of the game. Exactly. So I think there's something to it.
Brad, Nate Staley wants to know, was it your fault or Bachmeier's fault for all those sacks a couple years ago?
Both. Both. Hey, it's like the tweet last night. I didn't do anything before. I didn't do anything after. Well, I rambled down our record when I was the O-line coach here. Had 1,000-yard rushers, and was actually pretty successful. What else does he have?
I would say this, having been a part of all that, it's everybody's fault. It's not it's not the O-line. It's not the quarterback. We did.
Yeah, okay. Now, we could have picked up some twists. Garrett Larson we had a 5 call up. We got some twists there.
You're going to call Rat out like that on the air? Jesus.
The guy,
heads up. I love him. Heads up.
Yeah.
It's Beat Internet After Dark. It's a Saturday night.
Right now. If I don't turn up tomorrow, it's Garrett Larson. He works for the fire department, lives in Montana. Eric Covedo, I played golf with him yesterday.
Shoot, by the way.
I was terrible.
I doubt that.
Who's the better golfer between you two?
Yeah, all the way.
If you're a better golfer than Riddle, then I mean, if you can break 100, I guess we're.
Oh, I can break 100.
Okay.
Brad's a pretty natural athlete.
So the sack thing, I'm glad he brought that up. Yeah, it was not. It was a combination.
It's always a combination. It's never one coach, one player, one. It's a offensive thing. Because I'll tell you this. I mean, people probably don't even realize how many times like guys run the wrong route or they go too deep on a route or whatever, and all of a sudden the quarterback's holding the ball.
Yeah, well. You know what?
It's a problem.
I was the O-line coach. I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
And every O-line coach always says that. But
it's on me.
Yeah.
Okay,
then it's also on me to have 3 first-team All-Conference Mountain West players.
No doubt.
What's Ezra Cleveland up to? You guys in the NFL, right? Yeah.
He's starting.
Yeah, he's doing okay, yeah. 112 yards for Wyoming. What do you think of Boise State's defense has been getting a lot of criticism lately. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Brad, there were fans wanting, Spencer Danielson fired for how they're playing right now. Was this more of Boise State's defense figuring things out? Was it Wyoming's offense just not being very good? Again, 1 for 11 on third down, 1.1 average yards per rush. They just were not getting much at all offensively. 27 rushing yards. What did you guys make of?
Can I interrupt? I think it was probably the advanced
Was that Ron
scouting.
Collins
Yeah,
cheering
the
for that?
advanced
Yeah,
scouting. I think it was the advanced scouting of Ron Collins. They knew exactly what was coming without ceiling signals.
Okay.
Just want to preface that because now if you say, yeah, I can see where that is, but I would guess Ron had the scouting down so much that
112 yards.
No question.
Top down. I mean, the secondary played great. And when the secondary plays great, you got a lot of confidence to pressure and confuse the quarterback, and they hit that quarterback now. I mean, they pulled him. They pulled him. He didn't finish the game. And when you can pressure and confuse the quarterback and lead to quarterback hits, you're going to be in great shape.
What are you looking at, Kent?
I'm just reading the comments.
Okay. Yeah. They're all positive right now.
What are
100
sacks you want to talk about? I just saw that Genty won't be out long.
Yeah, but yeah, Jay Tuss, I guess, tweeted that Andy said Genty won't be out long. That's obviously good. But 100, the final stats say 112 yards. 112 yards, Kent. I mean, over a course of a game, if you hold a team to 112 yards, again, 85 passing yards, 27 rushing yards, and 1 for 11 on third downs. I mean, Boise State's defense just didn't give anything to the Wyoming offense tonight.
No, they rattled the quarterback early. They took away the run. And then on definite passing situations, they confused the hell out of Peasley and then hit him. And he didn't recover from that. And that kid's tough. I mean, he's standing there and took some hits and did all that. But, you know, when it becomes as a quarterback, you're more focused about that stuff, then it's really hard to do the rest of it. And they struggled mightily throwing the ball, which made it even harder to run the ball.
They can't throw the ball, but Rid, you mentioned this, and we talked about it when we were watching this game, is when you're playing Wyoming, you got to make them one-dimensional. If you take the run away, they don't function very well. Yeah. They've never been able to throw the ball.
They're not built to throw it.
They're not
50 times a game.
You're not going to throw in Laramie, Wyoming in November. So they built the offense where it's the power running game. And I'll tell you what, Genty and they ran duo run, put it on the corner, and they wore those corners out.
Absolutely.
They made the corners tackle.
Like all those
they
balls
couldn't tackle.
That bounce outside, like the one where Ashton hurtled the corner.
It's
all that
designed
stuff. But what I was going to say, the perimeter blocking by the tight ends and receivers,
no doubt,
was phenomenal. I mean, they were just crushing. Whether it's Matt Lauder, Riley Smith, Emac, Steph, those guys were getting after the edge. So the first guy you come to as a corner, you're not going to be successful in that defense very long.
Make corners tackle. Yeah. That is, when you're in the run game, you're designing the run game, you make the corners tackle because the Boise State tailbacks can wear them out. And eventually corners will turn it down.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, was this more of Boise State's defense maybe figuring something out, or was this just playing a offense that's very inept in Wyoming? What do you think, Ken?
Well, I think Boise State's defense made them inept. I mean, they've been good to this point, but I think the strengths, Boise State's strength, matched up against theirs, and they weren't able to capitalize on any weaknesses Boise State has showed to this point. Well, I don't think you're going to evaluate a ton how the pass defense off of this game, but what you can evaluate is that the players showed up, they competed their butts off, they played tough, and they did challenge every ball that was down the field. There weren't penalties, but I would just say maybe not the most sophisticated passing attack we're going to face. The rest of next week will be a bigger test of that.
We'll get to that later.
But I do think what they really gained today was confidence.
Well, I agree, but the other thing is, guys, if you're going to sit here and Boise State's defense hadn't been very good, and Spencer Danielson, yada yada yada, that staff did a great job game playing versus Wyoming.
Absolutely.
So you got to give credit to that staff.
Yeah,
Spencer did a great job. Do you know how hard it is to hold an offense to that third down alone? I mean, for a team that we talked about yesterday that held the ball. I mean, they held time of possession in the games previous. Yeah, and the defense got off the field.
Yeah, they got a field. I don't know how many 3-and-outs there were tonight, but a lot. Well, they only had 7 first downs.
Yeah,
one of them was by penalty. But
a personal foul.
I guess what I'm saying about the pass game, I'm not saying Boise State hadn't fixed it or didn't do a good job or any of that stuff. I'm not. I'm just saying I don't think tonight's a great night to evaluate that based on how Wyoming tries to throw the ball.
Well, let's get your thoughts on the quarterbacks. We got a lot to get to. Don't go anywhere. 90-second break. We'll take some quick commercial break, 90 seconds. We'll get their thoughts on the quarterbacks, the offense scoring 30 points for a sixth straight game now for Boise.
Here you go.
We'll take a quick break. Time out. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. 90-second break. We'll talk quarterbacks. We got a lot to get to here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. And we're back here on Bronco Nation News. We're at the James Kitchen and Bar. Come hang out. This is a perfect spot. Brad, we had fun yesterday hanging out here.
I love it here.
It's an awesome spot here at the James. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. You never know who you're going to see here, Kent, at the James.
Matt Navis pulling in, great old lineman here from the early 2000s. I believe I heard a rumor his daughter may have committed to Wyoming today. For track and field.
Okay.
So,
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
We're kind of shoved in the corner here,
I don't
but
know if that's true or
you
not.
got the
Don't report that as like fact.
well, I mean, we're live, so it was already
But
reported.
she's in a,
Nice
well,
job.
I said I heard a
Were you
rumor.
on that one,
I said
dickhead?
I heard a rumor.
That's what we do here at Bronco Nation News.
I'm
We report
pretty confident
rumors.
of
But the James Kitchen and Bar, great spot. Hope you guys come check out. We appreciate Barry for having us here, and we're always here, pregame, postgame. If there's a home game, we're here at the James Kitchen and Bar. What do you think of the offense today? We talked a lot about the defense making some stops, guys, but 443 yards. They did 23 first downs. They were 8 of 14 on third down. They did have that one conversion on fourth down as well. 71 plays, and they averaged 6.2 yards per play. They mixed and matched. We'll get
Win
to
a
the
lot
quarter.
of games.
Yeah, but
Win a
overall,
lot of games.
offensively, what'd you think?
Very good. I mean, no, they ran the ball very effectively. Third downs is the big key right there. If you really look at it, if you can stay on the field and keep your defense off the field, if you keep a defensive rested, and I know everybody loves tempo offense, that's why I love huddling, is when you keep a defense off the field, you convert third downs, you have an efficient rushing attack, and then now it opens up the play action pass. And I remember, I don't know, the third quarter, I think, is when Green comes in, runs his own read, touchdown. We talked about it on Friday. You're playing with 11.
First play.
You're playing with 11.
They started the second half with Madsen, and they got down to the 9-yard line, whatever it was, brought in Green, first play touchdown.
Pulled it, touchdown.
Pulled a touchdown. When you're playing with 11 and you can't defend the zone read and things like that, it opens up so much. And I just think that when Green's on the field, he's special.
Kent, you see a comment here. It says that TG is going to be gone. What do you make of how they're using these two quarterbacks back and forth? I've said it. I told you the other day, I'm not a huge fan of them kind of forcing Maddox Madsen, in my opinion, into this offense. I feel like Taylor Green's good enough that he could play the entire game and they would win a lot of these games. You guys are coaches. You know way more than me. Tell me I'm wrong. They obviously have a plan, but it just feels like they're really trying to push Maddox Madsen into this offense. It worked in the second half. First half, I was wishing Talon Green had played more. I think, again, for the third game in a row, they're saying Talon Green is the starter, but Maddox Madsen has played more snaps than Talon Green. Then Brad, where are you guys at with the quarterback situation here?
I mean, I wish I had a great answer for you, but they're scoring 30 points a game. So there's something to what they're doing, right? Whether you like it or not, I mean, the results are the results. Now, all that, I legitimately think they were trying to send a message about you have to take care of the ball. I mean, how many clips have we seen the coaches, and I'm talking over back to Hawk, talk about ball security, take care of the football. If we don't turn it over, we'll win the game. If we win the turnover. So I think at some point playing time's the message you have to send on that. I think that's what it is. Now, does that mean that there's not a chance to get him back in there and get him back in there for more? And yeah, I mean, I don't know all that stuff. Obviously, there were some plays. One guy had repped him, and they were going to go with that guy on those plays. I think about the reverse when Talon was under center. They subbed him in for that. It was probably because he'd worked on the ball handling with that, all that stuff. I think when they hit George in the up the seam, kind of the back shoulder throw. Yeah. I feel like that was probably a play Maddox had rep, not Talon. So I think sometimes the specific play they kind of have in mind which guy's going to run it, and then they worked it back. Obviously, they had spent a lot of time on the self scout, and they had realized, hey, when Maddox is in, he doesn't run the ball. Yeah. So they ran him today. Yeah. Trying to take advantage of maybe what Wyoming was thinking they would do, but also now Fresno next week sitting there going like, well, I mean, we gotta account for him in the run game too.
And I thought the first 2, 3, 4 drives, they kept Talon in there a little longer than in the past couple of games. Yeah. Talon was the premier quarterback. They stayed with them. I think it was the fourth drive. They finally brought Maddox in and they had to punt right away. But second half, I think Talon Green might have played 2, 3, 4 snaps. It was almost exclusively Maddox Madsen in the second half.
One was for a touchdown.
Yeah, the one play for the rushing touchdown. But overall, the second half was mostly Maddox Madsen. I mean, again, they're saying that Talon Green's a starter. They're saying that he's the focal point of the offense, but the numbers are what they are.
They are what they are. But yeah, I would also say the numbers are what they are. And what they do today, they won. So I think that.
What do you make of the quarterback situation, Brad?
I mean, I think they're winning. They're scoring 30 and all that, but I'm not going to. I already said it. You play with 11, and that's why I like Talon Green. You play with 11. What he brings athletically, is he going to miss some throws? Yes, I'm with you. But to call a guy a starter and then all of a sudden now you're playing more snaps with the other guy, what's the message? Now I agree with Rid. We've done it all in the past. You can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over. And I think that is a direct
fumble.
cause.
It's not like he's turnover prone and that was his third straight game with a fumble or something. It was one fumble after he rushed for a first down.
You got to keep in mind, I mean, sometimes they're not just sending a message just to him. Yeah. No. They're sending it to everybody. Like, you can't fumble the ball.
Which I'd be interesting, and I don't know, and I wish I would have paid attention to this, is who is the returner who fumbled the
Steph Cobbs.
Okay, Steph Cobbs.
He was in on the next one, yes. And he made a nice return.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering. I mean, but if you're going to,
I don't know how many other returners they have at this point either.
Right. But if the message is you don't turn the ball over or it's going to cost you playing time, then you have to stay to your word.
Sure.
Or because if you don't, the players see that stuff. Now,
we play action game, Brad.
I'm telling you, play action game and running the quarterback and things like that. Talon Green brings a whole different dimension. And Maddox comes in. He made some nice plays. He had a really nice quarterback draw that they said he was down, which was ridiculous. Yeah, he had the first down by far. So that's officiating. But I don't know if they
can actually talk about officiating.
yeah. That's a first down, right? So they did some of that, but I said it on yesterday. I will say it again. I'm not going to change my mind. When you play with 11, you bring a dimension to this offense that helps everything. That's just how I feel.
I knew I liked Brad because I knew he was a big TG10 guy, which I am as well. But I don't know.
I'm a big
Maddox
TG10.
And every time you have this discussion, it's you have to choose one or the other, and that's not what I'm doing. I think Maddox Madsen does some really nice things and could be a really nice piece for this offense and a lot of teams. But I just feel like this season, and particularly in this game, they're really trying almost too hard to get Maddox Madsen into the offense here when Taylon Green was moving him up the field, had that throw, had the touchdown. Like, why do we have to push Maddox Madsen into this offense? I just don't understand it. And then
I'm not sure that they would have ever gone to him.
Okay.
If Taylon doesn't fumble, I'm not sure they would have.
Okay.
I think I
agree with you.
I think I think they were giving Taylon the chance to run with it, and he fumbled, and they said,
so one fumble is it? I mean, you're done. The whole second half, Maddox Madsen plays like one fumble is it?
I would say this also. I mean, we don't know what else is going on in terms of checks, protection. I mean, maybe there's some of that stuff going on. I have no idea. I just think there's a reason why he came out in the first half. I don't know necessarily why he didn't play as much in the second half.
That's a good question to ask. I don't know either. But I'll tell you what, one fumble and you the kid comes in, his next play is a touchdown. I mean, who was the guy who said this? What, you don't like the next play to be a field goal or an extra point? Are you kidding me? Play the kid.
I would say this though. I guess the other
30 points though.
Yeah, 30 points.
6 straight games, 30 points.
But what I was going to say is, when we, in whatever year it was, 16, I think, when we were playing Montel, Kozar, 17. Okay. So nobody really had a problem when we brought him in on third down to run the ball.
We talked about this yesterday,
But
Brad. It's
now
more of a flip.
everybody has a bigger problem. The fact that Maddox comes in to throw the ball, because that's what we all think of as quarterback. But I mean, I kind of look at it the other way. Like, hey, they feel more comfortable with Taylon running the ball, and that's what they want to do more of. And then when they're going to throw the ball, they
agree.
Bring in Maddox. No. And Taylon's obviously shown he can be a competent passer. I think he throws the ball really well downfield, and I think he throws it really well. The shorter game, the middle of the field stuff. They're obviously they see enough stuff.
Things like
that they're not. They think Maddox does that better, and that's usually what fits into the second and long, third down stuff.
Now Montel can throw the ball too. Now
there's
he
no
threw at dime versus Fresno. And
that's why he's still.
But
playing.
we talked about this yesterday. The difference in this situation is most of the time when you have a change up, quarterback that comes in here and there, he's the running back,
exactly,
the running quarterback. The fact that Taylon is the starter is more, he's the running. Well, according to the coaches, the running quarterback, and he's a starter. That's a little different than it usually is.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
And I think you saw them out of their self-scout. I mean, they came out throwing it today, and Taylon did a nice job first drive, and then running Maddox. So I think they're aware of that, and they're trying to beat the scouting report on him. But I just think it's different, and we all need to see it different.
I also think at this point, both quarterbacks can run the entire offense.
Or what?
I think both quarterbacks can run the entire offense, and I think
agree.
that's a compliment, and it's actually a positive, because you can run Taylon all you want, because the next one, or Maddox, can come in, he can drop dimes, he can run the football, and you have two very competent quarterbacks. I just think one's stronger than the other.
If you got a question or a comment, get it in now on the ICCU YouTube chat for Kent. For Brad, we'll take your comments, your questions here on the YouTube chat. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, we ask you to switch over to YouTube. We'll take your comments there. We'll get to the questions here in a second. But guys, we Brad, we talked about this yesterday. 5 games left. Mm-hmm. Got to go 1-0 every week. 5 games left. They control their own destiny in the Mountain West race.
Absolutely.
One time they're checked off. Now they got 4 left to go.
Yep.
Was this more of Wyoming maybe not being quite the team everybody thought they were? Was this Boise State playing well? How do you look at this game and I guess the bigger picture here with what's ahead?
Oh, I think Boise came in tonight and played very well complementary football. Special teams, they got some things, right? The muff punt, the high snap on the field, on the PA, or the field goal, I'm sorry. Those things are easily corrected, right? But they came in and played complementary football, went 1-0 against a 5-2 team that went in and beat Fresno. Right. So what's next for Boise at Fresno, which is You want to talk about shutting the doors, and here we go.
How'd you guys do against Fresno? I'm trying to think, Brad. We
lost 17, but then we came back to be in the championship game.
Yep.
And then we lost the championship game.
beat them there, and then they still had to come back to Boise for the title game.
Yeah, we won the title game 17.
And
We
in
lost.
18,
They
we
ran
lost the
option
title
from the
game.
left hash to the right hash.
Yeah,
and this
we
end
got
zone.
extra point blocked.
Got an extra point blocked.
Took us 1.7 seconds to get it off.
And then we
Never a
did
good thing.
that was in the
We did
snow
next year.
game, right?
Yeah.
When they were here. Yeah.
second half snow game.
Who
Alexander
was the
ran for
special
like
teams
220.
coordinator then?
That was me.
Oh.
I'll take it.
I coached the field goal. You got a couple of roll
Nope,
winners.
Yep. That was all me. Our guy from Florida had never seen snow before, and he panicked.
Yeah, but everybody wants to hammer what's going on.
Sure.
Well, let's take it off a little bit and go. The staff did a great job. It's a great win. Wyoming's a tough football team at 5-2. They came in here and got dominated. Period.
I was going to say, Wyoming looked really bad tonight, but they're not a bad football team. They looked bad because Boise State did a hell of a job against them.
Right.
They took away their best stuff, made them play to their weaknesses, and then capitalized on that. And I thought it was a phenomenal plan, execution. Like Brad said, you're probably a couple just unlucky things happening from that being like 49-0. So
It's true. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's still 32-7. It's not like
that's what I'm saying. It was a blowout, but it could have been
even worse.
Yeah,
like
there's
embarrassing
possessions.
blowout.
Yeah, and then both huddle teams, right? No, so you're not going to steal a possession here and there. You're just not, right?
No.
And so when you do that, and you're efficient and you're dominant on defense, this is the game we thought we're going to have. We're going to have a 50. There's not going to be a 50 to something.
Not
game
against
anymore.
these guys.
Not against
No.
these guys. Really not with huddle teams.
Yeah.
Right. And then who are they good? Well, we're about to find out how good Fresno is with the UNLV team. Both 6-1.
Yeah.
They play right now.
Yeah. Let's take another quick timeout. 90 seconds here on Bronco Nation News. We'll thank some more sponsors. I want to know the last 4 games here, Boise State's chances of getting into that title game. Get your comments in, your questions in here on the ICC YouTube chat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 90 seconds here on Bronco Nation News. Post-game show. Boise State wins this one. Final score 32-7. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Bronco Nation News. Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at tacobellworks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, we're back here on the Lithia Ford at Boise post-game show. We got Kent Riddle here. Kent, you were not expected to be here, but which is a bad news, right?
It was bad news. Yeah. But yeah, I got a chance to be at my daughter's state tournament. Unfortunately, it didn't last as long as we had hoped they would go, but still here.
How about my Jayhawks, by the way?
The Jayhawks were freaking awesome.
We got a couple comments on here. Yeah, we are we're drinking. We're having a good time. Rock chalk, baby. Let's go.
How about the Jayhawks? So turnover, let them back up front, get the ball back,
on the kick
and
return.
drive right back. And I actually, on the drive back, I took this picture and saved it for you.
Okay.
They
It was 14-14. We were up 14-0. Then you had the horrible fumble. It was raining, I know, on the kick return, but yeah. What do you got? All right.
The last play.
Okay.
That is it. You see the circle of death spinning.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I had to wait like 10 minutes till we got back in service to find out what happened.
Literally on the last play. Oh.
Yeah. We were coming over the mountains somewhere.
You know what? I was working. You know what? Rock, chalk, let's go. I was so pumped about that game.
Look at what happened as we're driving back. It stopped right there in the middle of the Hail Mary. I had no idea what happened.
It wasn't a Hail Mary. They were on the 20-yard line. It was good defense.
But they threw it up into a crowd. I mean, to me, that's a Hail Mary. When you throw it into a crowd.
Oh, my gosh. I was so excited. Oh, my gosh. There we go. We got folks here that are hanging out. Appreciate you guys for checking us out. But you know what? Like,
Sunshine's
we all have an alma mater. I mean, you guys have coached in multiple places. Maybe it's a little different. But for somebody like myself.
The best Kansas team I've seen since Todd Reesing.
Orange Bowl.
The Orange Bowl year. What year was that? Come on.
08, 07. 07 was the Orange Bowl, and then folks are already saying,
really
let's see, BJ is going to change it to Jayhawk Nation News. No, we're not going there yet. Not quite. Next year.
Like I said, the sun shines on the dogs.
Hey, we're 6-2 now. Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. I got the over 6.5. I need one more win. I'm going to hit my bet. We got Cincinnati left. We got Texas
Baylor?
Tech. No, we already played Baylor. No, I don't.
K-State.
K-State at home.
Yeah,
they're coming to Lawrence, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
You should go to that game.
Let's
go to that game.
I want to go. I want to save it for the bowl game. We went to the Liberty Bowl last year.
That's a bad matchup.
I'm not going to lie. The Liberty Bowl, Kansas, Arkansas last year went triple overtime. I may or may not have left early and turned around and come back into the stadium after they got the onside kick.
So that's your alma mater, huh?
In all seriousness, so
Lance
Leipold.
Yes. Buffalo.
He's doing
Wisconsin Whitewater.
Whitewater. Yeah. He was only at Buffalo for a couple of years, but he's doing basically Bill Snyder things at Kansas.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
He's doing a great job.
They're one of only like 3 or 4 schools in the last 2 years to have College Game Day on ESPN and Big Noon Kickoff on Fox. Like, they're getting a lot of attention.
The guy's an unbelievable coach.
It's not bad for a basketball school.
There was 3 or 4 times today where I was literally ready. Brad, and you laugh, but I was like, there was 3 or 4 times where I was like, all right, that was it. We had our chance. We're done. I wanted to walk out, and it is a great feeling.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like,
they were number 6, man. Like, to be alma mater, like
phenomenal
blood, sweat,
coaching
tears.
job.
Like, I paid $100,000, like whatever. Like, that is like, it's one thing to say,
$100,000. You got off cheap.
whatever. I don't know, a year. I don't know. I'm just my grandma paid for it. I don't know.
Hey.
I'm just saying, like,
is that promotion? Join
my grandma. My grandma, the Oklahoma oil wells. Love you, Elma Jean. Like, my grandma, like, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like,
$100,000 a year. Thank Lithia Ford.
Yes,
says Bedell, who went to the most expensive public university in the world.
You actually paid $100,000 to get an education from Kansas? At least my shit was free.
guys, like, I don't pay these guys, so I can't kick them off or say anything negative. But I'd be happy to.
You
can
kick us off.
They're nice enough to do it. Like, I get it. I get it.
We're just.
But you know what? Like,
hey, hold on.
It is a great.
He's the coach of the year. Right now, in my opinion, they want to put Dion. I went to Colorado. You want to put Dion for that, for what he has done for Kansas football, and what the facility changes they're having now, the money he's raising, and it's not related off of basketball and that's another shot, but for what he's done, I think that guy.
His is sustainable.
Best job. Yeah,
his is sustainable. The way he's doing it. I mean, he's not getting 7 5-star transfers in to change things. He's building it. And
essentially that was the downfall of Mangino. He thought when he won the Orange Bowl, he can go get these 5-star kids. He knows what he's doing. The problem is now Kansas is going to see how really dedicated they are to keep them, because now you're going to have to pay them because people are going to come calling.
All right, so 4 games left for Boise State here on the schedule. I would love to talk.
I know.
We
got 4 games.
I would gladly talk Kansas football, and
I just like to talk.
When we end the show here, I will buy you guys a drink, and we'll talk Kansas football for the next hour. I would love to talk Kansas football, but these people don't care.
Yeah,
4 games left.
Fair.
Fresno State next week on the road. You got Air Force coming at home. Those are two of the obviously very tough games. You have at Utah State. You have New Mexico at home. I mean, again, last week it was kind of a little lip service, whatever. Like, hey, we got 5 games left. We control our own destiny. Like, check one off the box. You got 4 left. Like, what do you guys think about big picture here? Boise State, they're back to 4-4 on the season. They're 3-1 in conference play. Like, can we like actually talk about a team that has a chance in the conference here? Or are we still, fooling ourselves? Yeah. What do you guys think?
Hell yeah, they get a chance. I mean, they control their own destiny. And, I know the guys in that building, players, coaches, staff, everybody, absolutely they got a chance. I mean, they're going to fight like crazy. And it didn't matter if they have a chance or not. They're going to fight like crazy. But there's no reason to think that maybe Air Force, but it's here. I mean, that might be the only game they're not favored.
By the way, is up 23-13 going to the fourth quarter at Colorado State. Air Force up 10.
I bet you next week's a pick'em type game. I mean, it might be 1 or 2 points.
I would think
way or the other.
The only reason I think Fresno is favored at 2.5 is because when you're at home, that's a 3-point swing.
Yeah.
I mean, that for bettors, it's a 3-point swing.
We've won a lot of games at Fresno. I don't know if anybody else can say that, but Boise State has won a lot of games.
And we've talked about that.
And
there's 2 places in this conference, right? When it comes to crowds.
Okay.
It's Boise State's 1, Fresno's
Walking
2.
Down that tunnel with the fans right there.
And the walk is so long. It sucks.
But man, I think that fires our players up. I think they get excited about
rivalry.
that.
Let's go.
I think some other teams might cower to that a little bit. I think that's a great thing for Boise State.
It's apparently snowing, by the way, in Fort Collins right now. It's a blizzard.
Well, that's good for
you. Got Air Force. You got Colorado State. Yeah,
good for Air Force. That game. I mean, they're what? They're an hour and 15 minutes down the road. Right, it's not very far. Now, you got
tell us about Fresno though, and walking down that tunnel.
Oh yeah, people are yelling at you. I remember when we beat them in 2001, walking off the field, and we've won, and people are like jumping out in front of you, yelling, "You're dog meat!" And I'm like,
2001,
we won.
The big game in 2001. Yeah. Wow.
I was like, we won.
Yeah. That's thank you.
I don't know.
Thank
awesome.
you.
But the way they have the locker room, it's not attached. You got to walk around. You got to walk down the big tunnel. Brad, your thoughts on playing in Fresno?
It's what? It's a really fun game to play in.
I agree.
The tradition of it, where Boise State turned the projection of the program with Winston Venables diving over and just demolishing Carr. If you're with Coach Hawk, that changed the really trajectory of both programs, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, it's a big rivalry. Fresno is a great place to play. They'll pack that place. Tedford does a good job. This staff will do a great job. That's a game right there. I would agree. Red pick'em, or I think Boise comes in at 2.5 as a dog.
Yeah, I think it's going to be whatever it is. It's going to be a
good
toss-up type game.
Toss-up game.
But
that's an all-around offense that they're facing.
But I do think
that game, by the way, doesn't start for another 45 minutes. It is Fresno State tonight is home against UNLV, who UNLV has been the surprise team in the conference to this point. But that game is at Fresno, and I think it was a 9.5 point spread
tonight. Who is UNLV
so
beat in the conference?
They are 3-0 in the Mountain West Conference. They have beaten Hawaii, Nevada, and Colorado State. By the way, somebody, either New Mexico or Nevada, one of the two is going to be 2-2 in conference play. They play tonight. They're both 1-2 in conference play, and they play tonight. So you're going to have either Nevada or New Mexico is going to be 2-2 in conference play tonight by the end of tonight.
And you got everything. If you look at the next 4 games, you got Fresno, which is really a lot like Boise's offense: shift, motion, run the ball, play action, move the quarterback. And then
it all started the same at Oregon.
Good point.
Between Tedford and Dirk were the offense coordinators at Oregon way back, and then they kind of branched off. But that's
Utah State.
Why. I mean, there's even same terminology.
Yeah, and if you look at the next 4, Utah State is a game at Utah State. It's the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Yep.
I actually got ripped on the headphones for saying I was cold.
By who?
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, please, before we move on, tell us the story here.
And I'm, I love Coach Horse. So we're beating them by 30, right?
What year was this?
Fourth quarter, 18,
18, I think, when they were
It's the one we tried to throw Ezra Cleve in the double pass.
Oh,
and it just- yeah. So we're beating them by 30. It's a night game. And I literally turn, and I think John Molshon is sitting next to me. And he goes, Coach, you okay? I go, this is the coldest I've ever been in my life. Coach Hurst goes, shut up, Bedell.
But
we're up by 30.
But that was the first game we had the heated benches.
Oh,
because we didn't have them at BYU earlier in the year, and it kind of hurt us.
That was 18.
When I say kind of hurt us, I mean like guys are over there like we dropped like 10 balls.
Was that the year CT Thomas post game said something about we were too worried about the temperature and not the game?
Well, I don't know, but probably
that was BYU, right?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was rainy, cold.
Oh, Utah
like guys are over there like just doing anything they can to try and be warm, and
but I will tell you the one thing about to dovetail on that Utah State game.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. You can check this. I think Utah State's got one of the top 20 offenses in the country, yardage wise, and they throw the ball all over the lot.
And going to the Logans, no guarantee there either.
I don't think anything's guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean,
going on the road in conference play.
I'm laying my money on the Broncos.
I think the Broncos,
whatever it is, we don't lose to Utah State. We'll be good.
People are saying that 2018 game in Provo was brutal.
It was,
the Provo game, 2018.
Rain in warm-ups.
That was the three.
I was talking about was that. I thought it was 2019.
No, we lost by 3, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2019.
That was the only.
The end of the first half, we missed the extra point. We missed field goal. We missed field goal.
Only one sacks ever missed inside.
But wasn't that where Chase Gord came in and played that game?
Yeah. And we dropped a bunch of balls because it was cold.
But that was the only loss of the year. I thought that was 2019.
No, 18.
So what was the loss in 19? You guys went 12-1. Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, it was probably 19. You're right. It was probably
you guys
19.
lost. You were 12-1 going into the Coach Pete final game.
We would have made
that was the game. You lost by 3 to BYU.
No, you're right. It was 19.
And it was raining. It was a horrible night. And then there was some weird play where like it was a 4th down and BYU like tried to have a DB push the ball across.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was 19.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. We should have won that game.
I usually know what I'm talking about, folks, but once in a while I can.
Yeah, they got us on a few trick plays. Yep. Yeah.
They got us.
They had stolen from us. Was the worst part about it. They stole our trick plays and ran them against us.
Which one?
They worked.
Oh, they did do some sort of half. What did they do?
They did the fake quarterback sneak, fumble, hit the tight end wide open in the middle of the field.
We beat Kansas on at Colorado, by the way.
True story.
That's actually a fact. All right, cut it. Cut it. Show's over.
Story.
That's actually a
we hit it against Hawaii here too.
Yeah, that's true story.
But they ran it against us. And then they also ran the reverse pass to the
Baylor Romney played like an all-star that night.
Yes, he did. Yep. Yeah.
Beat us somebody said beat us on our own play.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I love making sure I get to remember all these times where it's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It's not really what I was thinking.
All right, but to kind of sum this up, we talked about it, Brad, yesterday. Like, I know, and you got the bye week, you got 5 games left. You're saying like, hey, we got a chance, we can win our 5 games. Like, to get the first one, check it off. Like, what's kind of the mindset right now for this team and this coaching staff? Like, really nice win tonight. You got to go on the road, tough game, but like, are you starting to believe a little bit? Like, yeah, we could. 4-4. It's not great, but we can still do this.
I think they came out tonight like they believe. I mean, like we talked about yesterday, you close the doors, you become a family, and you come 1-0, and that's the mindset.
Those guys ever stop believing. I mean,
I don't think they stop believing.
I know that. No, I know what you're saying, but I mean, I'm trying to say this for everybody else. Like everybody else hears the noise, and I'm not saying they're not aware of it, but they're not listening to it. And they believe in each other. They believe in their process. They believe in what they're doing, and I think tonight was a result of that. That's it.
1-0. They need the next one is Fresno at Fresno. Back, good road test. 1-0. If that's and Andy said it, and you mentioned this yesterday. When Andy said we're coming in 1-0, that's our mindset. Well, then 1-0. They went 1-0 tonight in a dominating fashion. Next is Fresno. You learn from this game the mistakes they made, and you know what? Come tomorrow at probably around 3:00. It's Fresno.
Yep.
Put this game to bed and go on to Fresno.
So is this?
And they probably got a little advanced prep on that last week. Certainly, guys like
with the bye week.
And, yeah. some of their
I
analysts
hope
and
Ron
stuff.
Collins was working pretty hard. Yeah.
I bet he was. That's their job.
Yeah,
That's
those
their
guys
job.
are always working a
Their
week
job. They're
ahead.
working ahead.
So, but for them to be able to work a week ahead without
There's no doubt.
a whole bunch of other stuff, I bet they're pretty far ahead on that.
So I
game.
guess they said they're hoping it's a short-term thing with Ashton, but just to get George back, regardless of Ashton, I mean, George ended up having 19 carries or whatever it was tonight. Like we saw it last year at the end of the season with the three-headed monster of, Genty, Halani, and Green. But what'd you guys think tonight of Genty getting back in there? And I mean, I know it's one guy, but how big of a difference down the stretch can a healthy George Halani make, Ken?
Yeah, I mean 1,000%. I mean, if they can get both guys going, then you're never worried about having a tired guy out there. But yeah, hopefully Ashton. I mean, that guy's like a combination of the bionic man and Gumby. So I'm guessing he'll be fine. I don't think it'll be a big deal. It's probably something more precautionary than anything. But having George, I mean, again, in my opinion, you're talking about the two best running backs in the conference on the same team. I mean, why would that ever be a bad thing?
There was a question, Ken, here. Jeff says, please ask Rid if he feels like this win is due to the better separation by the wide receivers. Your thought on the wide receivers getting some separation. Why
I know
laughing?
exactly who sent that in. I want to know. That would be Jeff Edwards,
It
former
is.
Boise State punter.
All right. Let's check on that. Yeah, Jeff Edwards. Yeah, there he is.
But I would like somebody that was a big talk early in the season.
It was.
Like the separation the receivers were getting. I'd like to know what somebody defines as separation,
Okay.
and then explain it to me when they're playing zone coverage. How our receivers were getting no separation.
Okay.
It's
Because
automatic.
in zone coverage,
It's automatic.
you're just looking for holes. Nobody's covering you. It's zone. So when all that talk was going on about like, hey, our receivers get no separation, I want to know what that means because I've coached football a long time, and that's almost a ridiculous comment in my opinion.
It's not good.
Unless you're getting 100% man coverage, and even still, the ball throws you open. I mean, look at guys in the NFL. Like, you're not going to beat a guy by 7 yards unless something went wrong. So nobody's looking for that.
What are you looking at? You're looking at the stats over there, Brad Bedell.
This
What
is
are
really-
you looking at?
You know what's intriguing is we're used to Genty. You're welcome. Going for
You was calling him Gentry.
Yeah, I said Gentry. It's on me. I got a late night text last night. Hey, you got to be coachable. We're used to we're used to a tailback in Genty going for 134, 150 yards, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But if you really look at this, George went for 79, but you rushed for 236.
Impressive.
Your
That's
leading tailback went for 76,
79,
and you went for over 200.
234. That's impressive. That
Okay.
that right there. And the
Coachable.
other one is
We got to look at net yards, not.
well, yeah,
not
it doesn't. Yeah, but hold on. Now I'm glad you said that.
Just picking on you.
How good
Yeah.
how good the offensive line was is
No negative plays, really.
they only had three negative plays.
Steph on a reverse, Caden Dudley on a fly sweep, and George lost 4 yards total.
There's
Yeah.
no doubt.
But going into the game, we talked about this.
tells
We
you.
talked about this yesterday, Brad. Like,
Explosive plays.
the Wyoming's not great against stopping the run, and Boise State took advantage of that running the football tonight.
And then hit a few explosives in the pass game.
And isn't that kind of the? I mean, we talked about
That
this.
should be the.
I mean, you go look back last year. I know Dirk ran a different, style, but
Not really, though.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, if you win the running game and you hit explosive plays, it doesn't matter what. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a run and shoot team or Air Force, but if you win the running game and then hit explosive plays, you're going to win the game as long as you don't have turnovers.
And with your third down conversion, which Boise State was very
Yeah.
good tonight.
Yeah.
And then Boise had 2 sacks and Wyoming had 0. That's another big one. And they hit that quarterback.
So
So,
pounded him.
oh
Yeah.
man,
a lot of love for Prince Strawn tonight, getting his first career touchdown.
Oh, I knew
Ken.
that was
awesome.
coming up.
Yeah.
Alex Guerrero's on there somewhere, right?
Yeah, he is. Prince Strawn party. Everybody's excited.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
been
Hey, they worked him in and they found a way to use his skills, and I'm sure that was something they've repped over and over for the last couple weeks. As a backline throw, you're always going to use your taller, bigger receivers for that stuff. I mean, Austin Pettis lived on that. That's kind of the role they're going to. But they found something that he had gotten reps at, he was good at, and they figured out a way to get him in there and get him the ball. And he, to his credit, when the time came, he made the play, and that was not an easy throw or catch. I mean, that was tight coverage down there, and if he'll continue to do that, they'll find more ways and more ways and more ways, but you'll see a ton of that stuff.
I'm trying to remember which touchdown that was. They were already up at that point, right?
Yeah, I think it was
let's see here. So they were up. They were up 22-7. He scored with 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the third quarter.
Right? Yep.
That made him 29-7 at that point. The 6-yard touchdown pass from Maddox Madsen. But Brad, your thoughts on?
It's impressive that, and I was also looking because when we talked about yesterday,
I'm trying to get recruiting skills.
We'll take commercial break here if we need to.
We also talked about, and I don't want to change the subject, but explosive plays, right? And that was going to be the difference in this game. Yeah. I mean, you got to look at the long of the wide receivers. I mean, 49, 17, 11, 12, that's Boise. You got 13, 19, and 14. I mean, those are explosive plays, and Wyoming stopped throwing the ball late in the fourth, and they almost said, you know what, okay, we're going to move on. I mean, they were 3rd-17, and they handed the ball.
Was this Wyoming?
25,
was this Wyoming coming in as a overhyped, over whatever team, or was this Boise State really taking a step forward defensively?
Yeah, I think it was Boise State taking a step forward defensively, without question. I mean, they made them inefficient in everything they tried to do. And Wyoming had not been that way up to this point. So I think that's a confidence builder. Now, next week's offense is going to look different. They're going to have to go back and figure out, like, hey, what's our game plan against all this stuff? And it's going to look different. But to me, I'm building confidence from this. I'm pumping those guys up like crazy. At the end of the day, when they did have to go one-on-one, they won those battles. And that's going to be a big part of what they do.
Red, the other thing I want to say is don't you think Boise came out and you can really see who won the bye week?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's another one.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when I say that is when you want to win the bye week is you want to kind of dive into what you were not efficient at, right? I think, and we mentioned this, Rid, I know you mentioned it and said, going to the bye week, Boise State's going to tackle. I don't know if they did that. I wasn't at practice, but they looked like they tackled better, right? They tackled better. They won the bye and they worked on some things, and they're going to.
They eliminated stuff they weren't good at.
And now Wyoming's going to they got to turn over a game. They got 2 tonight. They'll fix that. But I think Boise State and the staff and the players were intentional about the bye week, and they rested. Genty got hurt. I get all that, and he'll be fine. But I think that they won the bye week, had a plan, and they won the bye, and Wyoming looks like they just didn't win the bye week.
Yeah. And Boise State got healthy. Having a full complement of guys today, I think was
O-line,
George back. Obviously Ashton wasn't in there that long. I didn't see Dimitri out there, so he might have been the one guy that wasn't back. He was out, but everybody else. But Jaden Virgin stepped up. I mean, that dude made plays. So
he did.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Okay, so 4 games left. We kind of wrap this up here. Get your final thoughts. Again, folks are saying, it's Wyoming. It is what it is. Maybe Wyoming wasn't quite I'm not going to say they're a paper tiger, but not quite the team that folks thought they were. But in general, you win this game, you move forward. You got to go on the road to Wyoming. We'll see how they do against UNLV here coming up. But I guess, Brad, we talked about it yesterday. 5 games, it's tough, whatever. But now you check one off, as I said earlier. Now you got 4 left. Again, it wasn't perfect tonight, but did you guys see some signs tonight that maybe encourages your thoughts a little bit here, Brad and Ken, about the final stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they came out tonight and they took away what Wyoming does best. Wyoming runs the football. Boise took it away, right? They can't throw the ball. We know that. Now, yesterday I said the next 5 games is their toughest stretch in conference. They went 1-0. Right now, I mean, every week, am I ready to throw a parade? No. I mean, they got to come out and they got to win next week. They got to win the next week. But it's a 1-0, and they have things to work on. I'm not saying that this is a team that's going to go in and win the championship right now.
But they're still alive to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the point. But that's the point. Yeah. That's the point. If you went 0-1 tonight, they're out.
Yeah.
But they did. Yep. They went 1-0.
Yep.
Next week is a new week, different opponent.
Next week seems like the week for me, like at Fresno. Like if you're able to go to Fresno and get a win, all of a sudden, like I think fans, whatever, like, okay, this is real. Like,
You're a lot more
if they
comfortable
win
with,
next week,
with
in
what
my
Air Force
opinion,
coming to town.
if they win next week, they're the
Back in it.
favorite to be in the Mountain West Championship with Air Force.
Really?
Ooh,
Because then you
Rid, come on now. Air Force is
I'm
going to
saying
come in.
Fresno have two
Air
losses
Force,
at that
Air
point,
Force
yeah.
is going to walk into Albert Stadium undefeated.
yeah, I'm
Undefeated.
saying to get in the game.
Oh, well, you got to beat Air Force.
I don't think so. Everybody will have two,
If they beat Fresno State will have two losses. They'll still have one. Yeah.
and we'd be the head-to-head.
Right, but the winner out of the winner of the UNLV Fresno State game is 7-1.
UNLV's going to lose along the way.
But that's what I'm saying. You
I'm
can't
just
say
saying.
that yet because
These
Well,
guys-
I'm going to lay my money out.
No,
I'm going to
but
put my money. If they win next week, I'm putting money on it. They're in the championship game.
Okay. That's
so
the game.
I agree.
Wow.
Next week,
Because
is
you
the
have
game.
New Mexico after that, and then at Utah State before the Air Force game.
And if it comes down to it, and they need to beat Air Force, they'll beat Air Force.
You think so? Oh, at home. At home.
Yeah.
home's a big one.
Senior day,
Really?
and all
Home's a big
that.
one.
Yep.
Afternoon, Black Friday afternoon game, I
Yep.
think.
Now
Get out
they're going to need a
Put your
crowd. now.
shopping bags down and
Yeah,
show
but
up
Brad,
and be here.
Boise, put the shopping bags down because you, with an Air Force team coming to this town, you need that place sold out, loud.
But first, with Fresno next week, you feel like that's a big game next week,
Huge
obviously.
game. It's a huge game for just the rivalry, in my opinion. I mean, this is a game that has been built on tradition. I mean, between the farmers and everything, this is a game. Ask Jeff Pittman. This
Milk
is a
jug,
game.
right? What is it, Kent? What's the
Milk
trophy?
jug,
that-
milk
yeah.
jug.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably get an interview with Pitt. Ask him about the milk jug.
Why is he such the?
Because he's a dairy farmer,
Yeah,
although he never was a dairy farmer.
There we go. Yeah.
but next week's a big game. Now, the other we're talking about next week, and I get all that. They could win this one, but you can't stumble the next two.
Right. Yeah, you still got to show up and play your best against Utah State, New Mexico. But I think we all feel good like they'll win those games.
Okay. And any final? And we'll give you each get your 20 seconds. Final thoughts. Boise State wins this one. What was the final score tonight? It was
32-7.
32-7. They're 4-4 on the season now, 3-1 in conference play. 4 games to go. Your final thoughts tonight, Brad?
Dominating fashion. They went 1-0, and that's the mantra right now. And you got to give this staff a lot of credit. They won the bye. Thank you. They won the bye, and they came in and took care of business. And not only took care of business, the defense kicked the shit out of them.
Dominating. Yeah.
It's a fact.
I thought they won in dominating fashion today against a good team, and they made them look not good. And that's what you want to do. So build on that, gain confidence, move forward. I think that shows that the process is working. So I expect them to continue on this trajectory and keep kicking ass and getting after it.
Again, it'll be next week. A late game, by the way. It's a 8 p.m. Mountain Time start next week in Fresno. So get your coffee,
Is it really?
your Bronco brew coffee. Stay up late. 8 p.m. It's a late start, 7 o'clock out in Fresno next week. Boise State at Fresno State. 4 games to go. They're in the mix here. We'll see what happens. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. Thank you for watching the post-game show here at Bronco Nation News. And again, Boise State wins this one 32-7. Was that the final?
Yep.
And we'll talk to you guys later. We appreciate you checking us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the site. I'll hurry home and write my post-game analysis, my story as well. What do you got? What are you looking at here? What are you looking at? Come on.
234 yards rushing.
Rushing is still
That's all,
impressive.
Brad. He's
That's
an
it,
O-line
Brad.
coach.
That's all.
He
No
looks at
sacks.
rushing and sacks. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all he ever
because
looks at.
I already got hammered on a question about sacks.
Yeah.
And
But
then
that's all-
rushing, nobody wants to talk about that shit in this conference, or in this fantastic tradition of 1,000-yard running backs. Oh, by the way, George went 2,000 back-to-back 1,000-yard rushers too.
Yep.
They've got the best rushing duo in this conference, and I will argue it's top 5 in the country.
Wow. Well, we got
Yep.
a lot of great comments. Thanks a bunch, Coach Riddles and Bedell. Everybody loves you guys. Appreciate you guys for your thoughts as well. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We'll have full story online. Make sure you subscribe to the social media channels as well. Boise State, can we say they're back in the conference race, or is that too early, Kent?
I would say they were never
They
out of
are.
it.
They were out of
Okay.
it.
All right.
So, yes.
They're 3-1.
Absolutely.
They're 3-1 in the conference race. They're hanging around. Boise State.
You're not
going to
hanging around. They're in second place in the conference.
All right. They're
That's
going to
hanging around.
Fresno.
They got one.
Big game next week. Kent, Mike Sanford will be back in 2 weeks. We're not sure if Brad's going to be here. He's going to see Ezra Cleveland.
As of right now, I'm going to go see Ezra Cleveland play.
Well, Mike and I will hold it down.
All right, 2 weeks from now, Mike Sanford's going to be here. We're hoping to have a good time with that.
Hard 75 or whatever it is.
Yes, today. I think tomorrow is the last day, actually. So he's looking forward to being back. Appreciate you guys. Go check out BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you guys for the comments, thoughts, everything. And Boise State, again, they win it. Congrats. Appreciate you guys. Rock Chalk Jayhawk as well. I'll throw that in there. But
Holy shit.
We'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.